From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Monday, January 6th. I'm Abby Larico. The need for inpatient mental health care for pediatric patients has grown in recent years. Health officials say a proposed facility in Webster Groves could provide much-needed treatment.
We operate a 14-bed inpatient unit in our hospital on the Kings Highway campus today. It is always full.
But as St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fentem reports, some neighbors are concerned about where the proposed hospital will be built. That story coming up after this news on The Gateway. First, let's talk about the weather. Many schools, businesses, attractions, and government offices are closed today as this weekend's weather system makes its way out of the region this morning. The overnight snow is expected to taper off this morning, the last several inches piling onto a mixture of sleet, snow, and freezing rain that's been steadily falling since Saturday night. National Weather Service meteorologist Matt Beitcher says accumulation totals will vary. More snow in the north, more ice in the southern part of the listening area. But the storm was significant across the region as anticipated, and most around the St. Louis metro will have a little bit of everything to navigate today.
Some folks are probably going to have a layer of ice, a layer of sleet, a layer of snow, a layer of ice again, and then a layer of snow again. So it's going to be like a winter storm sandwich.
Beitcher says people heeding warnings to prepare this weekend and stay home when the storm hit saved lives. Still, the Missouri Highway Patrol reports at least 285 crashes statewide since Saturday night, and road crews warn we are not in the clear yet. With the possibility of refreeze and plenty of roads still covered, they're again asking people to stay home today if possible. Bob Becker with the Missouri Department of Transportation.
Especially in these conditions, if there's any ice out there at all, our trucks slip and slide just like everybody else. So please give us plenty of room when you're out there.
Nearly 300 flights in and out of Lambert St. Louis International Airport were canceled this weekend, but some are moving today, so check with individual airlines for any impact to travel plans. Metro trains and buses are set to operate today, with some delays and route changes anticipated. Temperatures are expected to stay well below freezing for the rest of this week. A former St. Louis County police officer pleaded guilty Friday to 8 felony counts after firing gunshots at a kids' trunk-or-treat event in Kirkwood in October 2023. St. Louis Public Radio's Lucretia Wembley has more.
Police say 40-year-old Matthew McCullough fired 12 gunshots into the air on October 15, 2023, after an altercation at a North Kirkwood Middle School trunk-or-treat event. The son of former county prosecutor Bob McCullough pleaded guilty to 6 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, 1 count of making a terroristic threat, and 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon. Prosecutors say McCullough declined their offer of 3 years in prison, so it's now up to the courts. The county circuit judge could sentence McCullough to 1 to 7 years in prison due to the felony charges. Sentencing has been scheduled for March 14th. I'm Lucretia Wembley, St. Louis Public Radio.
St. Louis County Clerk Diane Valenti is no longer facing charges of forgery and other misdemeanors. Melissa Price-Smith was sworn in Friday as prosecuting attorney, and one of her first official acts was dismissing these charges against Valenti. Former prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell accused Valenti of devising a government cover-up with Councilman Dennis Hancock over an allegation of nepotism for hiring his stepdaughter as a legislative assistant. A spokesperson for the prosecutor's office says Valenti was interviewed by police and a review of the evidence led to the dismissal. The charges against Hancock are still pending. Filing is over for the St. Louis March primary election, and as St. Louis Public Radio's Jason Rosenbaum reports, St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones is squaring off against familiar opponents.
Jones is seeking a second term later this year. She'll face Alderwoman Kara Spencer, St. Louis Recorder of Deeds Michael Butler, and businessman Andrew Jones in the March primary. Spencer and Andrew Jones ran for mayor in 2021, and Spencer narrowly lost to Tashara Jones in the general election. Meanwhile, Comptroller Darlene Green will face State Representative Donna Behringer and business consultant Celeste Metcalf. Under the city's approval voting system, the top 2 vote-getters in the March 4th primary will move on to the April 8th general election. Voters will also select candidates for 7 aldermanic seats. I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
The 2025 Missouri legislative session begins in 2 days, and with this new session comes a new class of lawmakers. One new member of the Missouri Senate is Curtis Gregory. Gregory will represent the 21st Senate District. He previously served 4 years in the Missouri House. Gregory ran against fellow Republican Representative Doug Ritchie in the August primary. Unlike Ritchie, Gregory is not a member of the Freedom Caucus.
I agree with a lot of virtually everything they've tried getting done. Like you look at 24 session and petition reform. I voted for that every time. I just probably didn't agree with the tactics that they were using to try and get that brought to the forefront.
Gregory says he does not intend to join the Freedom Caucus in the Senate. You can hear more from Gregory on the latest episode of Politically Speaking. The future of steelmaking in Granite City remains in limbo, even after President Joe Biden blocked the sale of U.S. steel to a Japanese company Friday. St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer reports.
Biden nixed the nearly $15 billion deal for national security concerns. The local union in Granite City had also been opposed to the deal, hoping to be domestically owned. Union President Craig McKee says he's pleased with Biden's choice to kill the deal with Nippon, but U.S. Steel has been wanting to sell Granite City's blast furnaces in another deal. That could move forward, and McKee says could cost some local jobs.
So I just hope at some point we get out of this where we're living this way, and I think, maybe this decision gets us there sooner and later, because even if there is some job loss, at least knowing something is best.
U.S. Steel says it will take appropriate action to ensure its legal rights. Experts believe the final decision will be left to the courts. I'm Will Bauer, St. Louis Public Radio.
Backers of a proposed mental health hospital for kids and teens say the Webster Groves facility will address a lack of care in Missouri. The hospital is planned for a residential neighborhood, and some people nearby think the plan has major flaws. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fentem reports.
In one corner of Webster Groves, it looks like yard signs have sprouted out of the ground like daffodils in the spring. Some, the blue ones, say, "We support children's mental health." The green ones say, "Keep North Webster a neighborhood." They began to appear last year when St. Louis Children's Hospital and the mental health provider KVC announced they wanted to build a pediatric mental health hospital near the intersection of Gore Avenue and Rock Hill Road.
We operate a 14-bed inpatient unit in our hospital on the Kings Highway campus today. It is always full.
That's Children's Hospital President Trish Lalo. She says the plan provides drastically needed services for young patients.
St. Louis has less than 50% of the inpatient beds that we need to care for children in mental health crisis. And so there are very few facilities in St. Louis that are offering this care.
KVC already operates a school for kids with behavioral and emotional issues, autism, and other diagnoses on the property. But the plan expands what's there. In addition to a 77-bed inpatient hospital, the two organizations also want to renovate another building for outpatient treatment. KVC's president, Lindsay Stevenson, emphasizes the facility won't be a traditional hospital.
I think when you think of a hospital, you think of a really tall building, you think of ambulances, and that's not what this hospital will be. This hospital will be a single-story, state-of-the-art facility where we're providing really significant and specialized mental health treatment for kids.
Stevenson says organizations have provided care at the location for years. KVC took over the property in 2023 from an organization called Great Circle, and officials at Children's identified KVC as a company they could team up with to bring more mental health treatment to the region. Lalo says KVC's land in Webster Groves was a bonus. But the proposed location for the new hospital, a quiet block in a leafy residential neighborhood, has some neighbors protesting. Julie Cohen and her family's house is close to the KVC property. Based on past instances, she doesn't have a lot of trust for what's coming.
I think when people cite it's historically it's always been helping people, it's like, yeah, and it hasn't been great.
She's mostly concerned about security and traffic. In the past, she says law enforcement has responded to incidents at the school. She's worried that because those incidents involve minors, there's not a lot of information available about what happened there. Cohen bristles at the assumption that those who oppose the plan don't support mental health for kids. She says choosing another location could accommodate a bigger and more accessible hospital.
I think they've done a really good job arguing the need for mental health. to the point it's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's like blow this thing out of the water. Let's make it 300 beds. Let's make it state of the art.
Michael Garcia also lives in the neighborhood. He says in the past, kids from the school have trespassed on neighbors' property. Both he and Cohen discussed an incident when adults restrained a kid on a neighborhood lawn.
This isn't something against KVC. This isn't something certainly against Children's Hospital. It's the nature of the type of facility is undoubtedly going to have risks.
Officials say KVC wasn't connected to that incident, but they are aware of problems that have occurred in the past. The new facility will have delayed open doors, air tags for kids, and other security measures in place. KVC and Children's also cite a study they commissioned that shows there won't be changes to traffic patterns. So far, the plan has received support from Webster Groves officials. The city's plan commission late last year voted unanimously to approve it. Now, the future of these 23 acres is in the city council's hands. A public hearing before the council is set for Tuesday at 7. I'm Sarah Fentem, St. Louis Public Radio.
Our Fred Ehrlich edited that piece. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Abby Larico from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, where it was worth the snowy trek today, but precautions were taken, and if you have the opportunity to stay home for one more day today, again, emergency responders are asking for you to please do so. If you work one of those essential jobs where you can't stay home, thank you so much and be safe. This has been The Gateway.